Hey everybody, I'm Gethin Ellis of gethinellis.com, and this video is my contribution to this month's T-SQL Tuesday. This month's host of T-SQL Tuesday is TJ Belt, and TJ's commentary around the subject was in the context of the last 18 months or so and the pandemic and working from home, but the invitation itself was more widespread about getting the right work-life balance. All right, now before I go on, I need to thank Kevin Chan to give us a nudge earlier in the week, telling me T-SQL Tuesday was coming round again. I'm notoriously bad for missing these, and Kev, I moaned at him a lot saying, I've missed it again, yada yada. He gave me a nudge and told me it was on, so thanks to Kev for giving me a nudge in the right direction. Now, for the rules and how to get involved in T-SQL Tuesday, head over to TJ's post. You'll find the rules, how you can get involved, and pretty much everyone can get involved. Just need to write a blog post on a given subject that month. But if there's a tsqltuesday.com website as well, we can get all the history and all the topics that have gone previously. I've been involved. I got involved in some of the very early ones, and I've got involved in a couple over the last year or so. As I say, I do notoriously forget though, and there's quite a big gap in between as well. So it's been going for over 10 years, this T-SQL Tuesday blog event. But me, a bit like the Okie Kokie, I've dipped in and out. This month I'm in, but I've been out a fair few months as well over the years. But I do enjoy contributing, and I find it fun when I actually remember to write these things. Now, TJ in the invitation, he set out, and I'll quote from his post, I want to invite you to share your experiences dealing with your journey with work-life balance, either through experience or hopeful future goals. So what are the cool things you've learned? What are the things you did that didn't work out? What rules have you implemented that made it easier to balance? What rules made it harder to find that balance? And what tips or tricks can you share with others? Well, I've been working at home for 15 years, well, nearly anyway, right? And when you say work from home, it does sound like you should get the balance you need, but in practice, it's really hard to achieve. I've been running my business for the last 14 years, and in that time, I've spent a lot of time working from home. So in the almost decade and a half I've been doing it, the key takeaway for me is, by default, working from home does not equal a work-life balance, at least not without some effort. Now, the other key takeaway from me is when people work from home, they are genuinely working from home. They are not swinging the lead. So let me tell you a bit of a story. Pre-pandemic, it's going back a few years actually, I upgraded a client to SQL Server 2014 with availability groups from a SQL Server 2008 cluster. Now, when we got into the conversation from working from home, right, the upgrade was going to happen on a weekend, a Saturday, and it was considered acceptable for home working for that piece of work. In fact, the office was closed and he couldn't go there if he wanted to, right? But in addition to that, the client had full-time staff who would be on call, and it was, it was acceptable for them to work from home, out of hours, fixing issues. But when it came to 9 to 5, if you didn't play the presenteeism game, you were swinging the lead, in their opinion. And just a quote from a senior technology leader in that organisation, swinging the lead was the quote used. Now, as you can tell from the sort of versions involved and things like that, this is a long time before the pandemic kicked in and the world went into lockdown. And I know the organisation in question, they had to change their stance during the pandemic. And from what I've been told and read, they achieved it pretty well. But I know a lot of people who work from home, right? And nobody who works from home swings the lead. From my experience, it's very much the other way. People don't know when to stop, right? Now, I've been running my business for a long time. I've worked for a range of clients who have different attitudes to working from home. Some companies prefer all their staff in the office. Some are happy for their team to get the job done wherever suits them. Right? The people who work for the organisations, the latter organisations, they seemingly have a more joyful, more engaged, and more motivated workforce. Right? But it's important to remember, working from home, it doesn't equal work-life balance. On the surface, it might feel like you do. Right? You don't need to commute 1, 2 or 3 hours each way, so you're getting some time back. Well, I reckon you aren't getting any time back unless you have some discipline. And if you're like me, right, I suggest you use that commute time as work time. So you're working a little bit or a lot earlier than people in the office. And when it comes to finishing, you're working a little bit later or perhaps a lot later than people in the office do. And the extra work, that doesn't lead to a good work-life balance. When you work from home, you can feel like you're always on because you haven't been into the office to show your face. You feel like you need to be online to show that you're not lead swinging, right, and making a meaningful contribution. You probably start before everyone else and you finish after, right? And you throw that commute into the mix and you can end up doing 16-hour days, and working those hours regularly is not balancing, and it's not how it's meant to be. But if you get it right, working from home can lead to a better balance. But you need to establish some ground rules with yourself and have a few things in place to make it work for you. And for this reason, working from home isn't for everybody. And it goes some way into explaining some of the issues that people have struggled with during the lockdown, where they haven't been able to achieve some of the, or they haven't got these rules in place, or they haven't got the ability to put these rules in place. All right. But these are rules I established for myself to get that right balance when working from home. And it can result in improved productivity. For some people, me included, that can be achieved that can be achieved compared to, say, a shared office space. But it's important to state it's not for everybody. So my working from home rules. These are important for me when it comes to working from home. I need a dedicated workspace. In the 15 years I've been doing this, I've been very fortunate. I've had an office. Right? It's either been a separate room in my house or a dedicated cabin in the garden. And that space allows me to separate work from home. I can focus on work in work time with no distractions, and I can close the door and my work is done. Many people don't have this, which is why some people struggle when it comes to working from home. Right? Rule number 2, it's best if you have a stop time. Right? Now, the type of job and type of work I do, I can work for hours. Right? But you need a structure to your day. So if you were working in an office and you finished at 5 p.m, keep that same time when you're working, when you're home working. Now, I also like a commute. No, I don't mean getting in the car and getting stuck in a train for 2 or 3 hours at a time, but it's nice to have a commute of sorts. You need that psychological start and end to your day. So if you sat at the kitchen table, finish work, and then sit at that same seat to eat your dinner, switching off can be hard. Right? So the benefit of working from an office is the commute that allows you to switch off. Right? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking 1, 2 or 3 hour commutes. A short 10-minute walk around the block at the start of your day and at the end of the day can help you switch on and off from work. Right? And you also need to see people. We can be quite lonely working at home. Right? And that's obviously very difficult during lockdown. But you do need that human interaction. Seeing people is especially important, particularly if you live on your own. Right? And the commute phase of home working can help with that. And as lockdown restrictions ease, there'll be other ways you can get that human interaction as well. Going to the gym, going shopping, etc. can all help with that human interaction that people need. So these are my rules. They work for me most of the time. I slip up occasionally. My wife usually lets me know if I'm losing that balance. Right, if you've got rules and suggestions for practical home working and getting that balance right that might be beneficial for other people, I'd love to hear them. So leave a comment below this post. That'll be perfect. And do feel free to share your views with me in the comments too. I'll be pleased to hear them. And that's it for this video, guys. See you in the next one.